All right, what is going on? I am super excited to be here. I am just trying to see if, there we go, if this awesome, awesome camera I have can get a little bit more refocused because I want to talk to you about something important today. As you're coming on, come on and say hello, say hi, drop a comment so that I know what's going on, and more important, that I know you're here. And I also know that even if you're watching the replay, comment in, because I want to make sure that I get this information to you, because today is all about something pretty important, okay? And it's actually a question that I've heard come up so many times on, is it possible to create duplication by branding yourself? Okay, so we're going to be talking about that today inside of this episode of our Daily Dose of Awesome. And I am super excited to talk about it, to work through it with you, and to also start a conversation with you guys to know a little bit more about what you think. And here's the deal, my answer actually might surprise you when it comes to, is it truly possible to create duplication by branding yourself, and more specifically by branding yourself online, okay? So we're going to talk about some effective ways to do it. We're also going to talk about some things that actually might be a cause for resistance for a lot of people on even thinking about branding themselves, or telling their team, or telling anybody to actually brand you, or what I like to call you incorporated, which is a term that I actually found out many, many years ago. So as you're coming in, holy cow, it's so funny. I saw like 4 comments, and then all of a sudden I took these magic 2 fingers, scrolled down here, and now I see everybody. So real quick, what's up, Sharon? Hey, Amy. Hey, Mackins. Hey, Stacy, Lauren, Kirsten, Becky, Karen, Heidi, Annalie, Sherry, Cindy, Lauralee, Jennifer, oh my gosh, Kendall, Paul, Eric. All right, what's up, guys? As you're coming in, continue to pop on and say hello, because I want to start sharing this with you, okay? Like, where did the branding you conversation kind of come about? And more specifically, where did it start to pop up for me? Because I would say the branding piece of things has been hugely, hugely critical for myself and growing my business. Now I'm going to talk about how ineffectively I did it in the beginning, and what you can avoid, especially if you're new. If you're somebody who's new and coming in and looking to figure out a way to build your business online, comment in and let us know if you are a little bit newer to this space. And if you're a veteran, you've been around, you're kicking butt and taking names, comment in and let us know as well too. Because here's the deal, it doesn't matter where you're at, it matters how you utilize branding yourself. Now, I want to take you back a little bit, because with this information that I'm going to be sharing with you, this is not something that I created myself. This is something I discovered, and this is something that I learned. And spoiler alert, there is something really, really cool coming up in the very, very near future that you're going to want to make sure that you have the information as quickly as you possibly can, okay? So, coming up, okay, and actually something you can take action on right now. If you go to the link that's in this post, all right, it's elitemarketingpro.com/go/ms-DDOA. You'll find it up in the comments. We'll post it in the comments. It's also up inside of the description here in the post somewhere, wherever you're watching it, on your phone or in your computer. But it's all about this book, okay? Now, here's the crazy part. This book is not our original copy. I swear to you, I was like, how many of you have a copy of this book, by the way, and have also reinvested in another edition of this book? This is my second copy. This is the one I believe I got off of Amazon. We actually had the one that was printed out on printer paper, that was like covered with dog ears and highlighting and underlining and all that good stuff. This book changed my life at a time where it was critical, and this has everything to do with building out your own brand, building out you incorporated, okay? This was so powerful for me. Actually, by the way, so how many of you have actually done this before? So if you think about it, I like to think about it of like, people have their first edition of books, and then all of a sudden they continue to keep buying multiple copies of the books, right? Because they become collector's items. Well, that's the way I look at this book, right? We've got our somewhere, we moved about 8 months ago, so now we can't find it, which makes me so sad. But somewhere we have a copy of our original magnetic sponsoring, which was like bound, it was on printer paper, and it's covered in highlights. I'll tell you in a minute a story that drastically changed my opinion of how to brand you and the importance of how you can actually help duplicate it in others, okay? So others can actually brand themselves as well, but actually produce results, okay? Because we're gonna talk about what branding you is not and what it actually is to help everybody, okay? But this was my second collector's item book, so hopefully you guys are in the know about these are collector's items. So whether you had an original, whether you got one like this, and also there's an opportunity to get your next level of a collector's item with what's happening and what's coming up. So make sure that you go to that link and you put in your information so you can be in the know and you can get notified immediately of what's going to be happening and coming up within the next couple of days. If you're excited about it, I want to know, because I'm pretty darn excited about this as well. Okay, so let's chit chat about personal branding, okay? Let's chit chat about branding you. And the reason that this is coming up today is that this really is from value originally that I got inside of this book about You Incorporated, okay? It's a critical, pivotal piece of the magnetic sponsoring philosophy. So let's chat about what you believe, and I'm gonna have you guys just start commenting in. I'll go back through the comments as I'm chit-chatting and talking with you guys, because this is a conversation. Wouldn't you agree this is something where it's not you just watching me, it's not me talking at you, it's us talking with each other, okay? And creating that conversation that's pretty darn fun. So I want you to chit-chat about what you believe branding you is, what it looks like for you, how you've utilized it, and then also, is it possible to create duplication by it? Okay, so what does it mean? So for me, if I take you way back when, okay, way back when inside of 2012, so 2012 and 2013, if you got an email this morning that gave you a heads up about this Facebook Live, it'll say that a shy previous second grade teacher who then transitioned to grow I think it was 3 or 4 years later, a 7-figure per year business. Like, how did that happen? How did that work? This shy lady, right? This person right here, who was a previous second grade teacher, knew nothing about personal branding, nothing honestly about business building or marketing. How did that all of a sudden transition into a 7-figure per year business? Well, here's what I can share with you. I remember the day I was sitting in the library, by the way, because we had just moved and transitioned, moved across the country. I was starting up this, this home business in this home business space, and I was incredibly self-conscious. I had a ton of lack of self-confidence, I guess you could say, in who would want to hear from me. If you've ever felt that way before, I want you to join in on the conversation and share with all of us if that's something you can relate to, okay? Can you relate to, at a time in your profession, because wouldn't you agree that this is a profession that we're all in, right? I'm in it for the long haul. I hope you are too. That if you've ever had a moment where you lacked the self-confidence, if you've ever had a moment where you went, I just don't know who would want to listen to me, right? There's a lot of other big dogs out there. I'm sure everybody's listening into them. Who cares to listen to me? So one of the things that I realized that day, and actually I was recommended by my husband to read this book. This was the one that was on printer paper. It was already highlighted by him. So I got a different color highlighter and highlighted it for me. But I sat in that library from 9 a.m. until it closed, and I finished that book that day because it was a moment in time for me where honestly I had been struggling, you name it, I did it. I was posting my business opportunity links all over social media about 3 to 5 times a day on other people's fan pages. I was messaging people desperate to create a relationship, but really all I wanted to do was pitch my products and services. And so I was pretty darn frustrated. I was shy. My hands were sweating while I was typing messages to people. I was dropping cards inside of Barnes and Noble, and I was striking up conversations with people, no joke, at the gas station, and thought I was gonna have a heart attack while I was doing it. So I realized for me, something had to change. And that's when I picked up this book. And that's when I literally devoured it in a day. And I realized something different. Okay. And what's cool is I can see actually some of you are saying, I can even relate to how you're feeling right now. So the cool part is that I'm going to share with you a perspective on how to brand you that can also help you think ahead so you can help duplicate the same thing you're doing in others. All right. But the biggest thing I realized that day, and let me know if you kind of can understand or see where I'm going with this, is that the biggest piece I picked up is, yes, there's an attraction marketing system that you'll be hearing more about in the upcoming days that you can utilize as long as you're following along through this book. But the big thing is it's about how to be a bigger, better, more effective, confident leader. All right. That's what I take away from this book. Now, how do you do that, right? I'm reading it in the library. I'm all hyped up. I think it was 2012, 2013, right around that time. All hyped up about it, but still scared to death of actually becoming and stepping out and branding myself personally. So how does this work, right? And how does it work from the duplication side? So here's what I can share with you, all right? I want to give you some tips and basically a process to share and understand. So what most people, okay, think about when they think about personal branding, when they think about branding you, is they do think about, okay, how do I become this bigger version of myself? How do I amplify myself? How do I start right out of the gates as the person that I know I want to be, or the person I think I need to be perceived as, right? I will share with you, and you guys might laugh at this. What's the name of the book again? Pardeep. It is magnetic sponsoring. Let me do it this way. By Mike Dillard, and there is something incredible happening that all of you are going to want to make sure you're in the know of. In fact, I would go do this now. Go to elitemarketingpro.com. The link's in the description right up here, and I believe it'll be in the comments as well. Go to elitemarketingpro.com/go/ms-DDOA. All right, if you go right up into the description, you'll be able to click on it, enter in your information, so you can actually, there's going to be the next, right? New expanded and revised version is coming out very, very soon. So you're going to want to be able to be notified about this. Okay. But absolutely, you are so, so welcome. So here's the deal. Most people, okay, myself included, at a time where you're not super confident in yourself, you are looking at who might I need to become in order to sell more products and services, right? So this is what a lot of people think of when they think of personal branding, and they think of, okay, if I become, no joke, this is what I thought, if I become the person in the suit, all right, because I thought of sales, I thought of at that time in my life, I thought of sales, I thought of how I influence people is other people who sell things. And most people that I knew who sold things at that time wore a suit or were like very, very professional and knew all the right things to say, knew all the one-liners, knew all the introductory comments, knew all the ways to engage with people. And so I had a set idea in my mind of what a personal brand should be. Okay, now think about this. Have there been times while you're building your business that you have identified what you think your personal brand should be because you're comparing yourself to someone else who you believe you need to be like? Okay, this is one of the biggest things that when we talk about the duplication side of things, of duplicating a personal brand, for me, I'm actually going to throw something out there, okay? Especially with the industry that we're in, that we specifically help teach and train network marketers to utilize attraction marketing and build their businesses online by utilizing an attraction marketing system. We have to do in our industry what duplicates. So if you think ahead of time, okay, and I want you to think about this. I want you to think about, I used to think that it's like, oh, I have to portray myself as a person in a suit. I have to know all the right things to say, and then guess what happened? I didn't say anything because I was paralyzed by fear that if I said the wrong thing, I would lose sales. So instead I had to flip the way that I was thinking. And instead I went, okay, what industry am I in? Who do I want to serve? And will they believe that they can do what I do? So I want you to think about this. In order to create duplication with utilizing a personal brand, one of the biggest questions to ask yourself in the beginning from you incorporated, okay, by utilizing you. The neat thing about it is most people think that personal branding can't be duplicated because each individual person is different, kind of like a snowflake, right? Like they're different. That's actually not the case if you think about it a little bit differently. Yes, everyone is different. However, we can think about a process and a bigger picture idea of how to help people utilize their personal brands, because you are your asset, all right? You don't go away. If, gosh, heaven forbid, something were to happen to your company, or you have to make a transition, or you create a stronger alignment with a company that has a vision that speaks to you with the way that you want to build, your name gets to transition, right? If you don't do that and you don't share who you are and you don't lead with your personal brand, then it can be something that can really, really affect you long term, okay? So here's the deal. From the duplicatable side, the first thing to think about, this is a huge tip, okay? Make sure that you write this down. How do I share who I am on social media and the value that I offer on social media in a way that duplicates for others? Okay, I'm going to give you a heads up on something, all right? So there are times where I will dress up, where I will do my makeup, where I will look a little bit more presentable, okay? There are also times where I will be in a ponytail. I will have just worked out and I will shoot a video and share value and share training at that time as well too. I do this purposefully because I know who I'm talking to. And if you have someone who's watching you, right? Because we talk all about attracting people to us. If I know, right, if we go back to the suit, if I know that I always show up in a suit and I always sound professional and I always look professional and I always have the right things to say, the people that are watching me that I want to attract in from a network marketing space are going to go, can I do that too? And it's actually interesting. I had a conversation with a mentor of mine once, because in the beginning I said, well, I have to say that I'm full-time and I'm not part-time and all of these things. And they go, no. You have to share who you are and where you're at, because other people need to know it's okay for them to be part-time inside of their network marketing business while they're working full-time, for them not to know all of the answers, for them to come off as a person who might be shy in the beginning, but is starting to build up their confidence. And so for you, ask yourself that question. With how I show up on social media, am I showing up in a way that's authentic to me, that allows other people who are starting to become attracted to me to actually go, I can do this too? That is one of the biggest critical elements of mass duplication, is the believability that somebody else can do what you do. So yes, can personal branding be done and completed and duplicated by you being able to actually think first about, all right, how am I showing up? And will somebody else now be able to go, oh my gosh, you know what? I can do what Cherie does. I can do what Julie does. I can do what Eric does. I can do what Paul does. Then guess what? You can lead with your personal brand. Just make sure that you're creating that way for people to see that they can do it too. Okay, second thing. All right, I want to give you this second tip to start considering your options for leading with value, leading with your personal brand, but also helping others learn how to do it too. So this second tip comes from one of the biggest elements for me that I took from this You Incorporated brand was, how do I become a bigger, better version of myself? And how do I allow people to follow me along through this journey that I'm taking, okay? So when things changed for me inside of my business, when things started to ramp up for us inside of our business, it was when I took the suit off, okay? I took the suit off that was in my mind and I went, I'm going to be myself, and I'm actually going to have people, I'm going to share that I'm going to be providing value for them. I'm going to be teaching them about what I learned, and they can follow me along in this journey. And so I was the person who was the messenger of information, and I shared the impact of the value that I was learning, and I was just there and I was present for people. So how does that become duplicatable? Well, for a lot of people, okay, it's very common for people when they get into this industry to actually think about, okay, and I want you to think about this as well too, whether it's from the business opportunity side or the product side, how many of you have had an impact by what you provide as a product or service. Okay, you've personally had an impact. Like maybe you've had a significant change in your life or in your diet or in your health or in your finances due to what you've been able to do and create inside of what you have. Okay, so for a lot of people, this is the way that they come in thinking, just like I was. I have to come in with a suit. I have to say all these professional things, and I have to know exactly what to do, what to say, so people see me as this, professional. But instead, and this actually happens a lot, where people won't give themselves enough credit for what their product and service or what their opportunity has done because they chose to use it. Okay, here's what I mean by that. So a lot of people in this space have amazing results, but they focus so much on the product, promotion of the product. It's the product that did it, versus starting to get curious and starting to share a journey of what happened and telling stories of what happened as you went along this journey and you utilized a product or an opportunity as your vehicle to get to where you want to go. Very, very different place than my product changed my life, right? My product changed my life, therefore you have to buy my product. Versus I made a choice to transition and change my life. You can follow me along this journey and I can help educate you on some of the things that I've done in order to be that bigger, better version of myself. Okay, and what I mean by that, so specifically, I was thinking of a student where she had actually ended up losing 50 pounds. And so what she was doing is she was constantly promoting that her product did it, okay? That her product is what helped her drop 20 pounds. And instead, she actually started doing trainings online, sharing, because it wasn't just the product, it was that she made a choice with the product and she also educated herself on other things she needed to do, like get up and move, hydrate herself more. She started studying the different kinds of, food that she could eat, food that was better for her body. She started sharing that information with people online. And then guess what? She started getting more comments. She started getting more connections. She started getting more people connected to her. And she actually started closing more sales because she stopped thinking about the product is what changed everything. And she started focusing in on, I'm going to start sharing stories and I'm going to start sharing education on what I've learned and what I've taken in. And if you guys want to know more about it, then come get connected with me. That's how you can start attracting people to you. And that's how you can actually create duplication for people, is by allowing people and you helping people understand that it's not about their product. It's not about the opportunity. It's about how they got curious about educating themselves to make a change in their life. So can personal branding be utilized to actually create duplication? Absolutely. It's just how you share it and how you utilize it. All right. It's not about you needing to become this big person that isn't you. It's about you providing value. It's about you consistently showing up. And it's about you sharing your curiosity as you're along in this journey. It's okay if you don't know everything. Okay? It's okay if you talk about the things that didn't work. People love that. But if you start allowing yourself to be present and visible in a way, like we talked about, that duplicates. Like, for case in point, I have a mic in my headset right now because I understand that's how other people are going to be able to transition in. So if you, number one, set yourself up in a presentable way so other people believe that they can do what you do, and you also educate the people that are coming in. You educate your team on how you're sharing stories, on how you're sharing wisdom, on how you're sharing the impact of what you have going on. People will begin to start listening, but you got to consistently show up, okay? And that's just like the tip of the iceberg when it comes to you incorporated and how to actually then utilize an attraction marketing system to start enrolling people consistently, all right? It all started for me coming in from this book. This book is reopening. This book is relaunching, and you're going to want to be in the know. So my recommendation is go up to the link that's in this post up here, okay? It might be in the comments as well, so that you have the opportunity to make sure that you get yourself on the early bird notification list. And if it's past the early bird notification list, when you're looking at this, make sure that you go and you grab that book, okay? Because it was absolutely life-changing for me, and I know that it can be as well for you. All right, so I love that you guys were interacting with me. Let me just see really quick. I know we're a couple of minutes over our normal time. I hope that that's okay, and I hope that I provided value for you guys that's going to be impactful for you, that you can bring back to your people. And if you also know somebody else that needs this, pop them into the conversation below so that they can have a watch, because this is super important. And like Dawn was saying, this is something that they teach. Everybody tells their own story. Just because you are not a twin of the person that's right next to you doesn't mean you can't share the process of being present, being in people's lives, and sharing your journey. So I'm super excited. Thanks, Alma. Thanks, Nelius. Thanks, Dawn. Let's see who. Thanks, Paul. Good to see you. Hey, Mark and Carla. Mike and Carla. Hey, Ruth. What's up, Cindy? Hey, Wayne. And if I didn't give you a shout out, please don't take it personally. I'm just trying to scroll through. What's up, Shannon? And say hi to as many people as I can. Hey, Melissa, Mary Jo, Amy. Thanks for tuning in, Susan and Valentine and Wanda. And if you're listening to the replay, please make sure you comment in and contribute as well too. Because I am telling you, this philosophy from the Magnetic Sponsoring Attraction Marketing System philosophy changed my life. I know it can change yours too as you continue to keep utilizing it. All right. So with that being said, look out for our next Daily Doses of Awesome coming up. We are going to have some amazing interviews and case studies of other people who have been wildly impacted and created some amazing results from this beautiful book right here. And so make sure you stay tuned, because you're going to want to soak up all the nuggets possible inside of the Daily Dose of Awesomes that are coming up very soon. But for now, make sure that you go to that link, you enter in your information so you can be notified immediately of when you have the ability to be able to head on out and pick up that book. With that being said, I'm Kate McShea, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody.